I told you I was going to show you a tour of this room, but I'm really not showing you a tour of the room. Now I'm going to show you, I'll let you see the room itself, but I'll show you, let me see if I can, oh, isn't that interesting? Okay, I'm going to show you my weaving. So this one, this is, what is this one called? You can see the pattern. It's overshot. It's periwinkle. I think that's what it's called. You can see the pattern on it. And then this is another one. This one is bird's eye. I really like bird's eye, or maybe it's rosebud. Looks more like an eye, doesn't it? Anyway, and this one is waffle weave. I did this one at Mira. I did those. Oh, I did this one at Mira long ago, and then I did this one at Mira with the group. This is waffle weave. You can't really see the bumps, but these are valleys. Let me see. Maybe you'll see it better on this side. Interesting, eh? Anyway, I love weaving. And on this one, I put on a warp on here a couple years ago. And the warp was like 16 yards long. So I'm getting closer to the end of it. But because it was a wide warp, and it used to come out to here, I decided I wanted to make something narrower, tighter. And so I narrowed this, I put it through the reed more narrow, half as much, which means that this is stretching at an angle. So when I tighten them, these on the side get very tight, and these are loose. And so the only way I could figure out to fix that is to weight all these. And so I have jars holding, of sand, which I'm using to weight these. This really doesn't need a weight on it. Uh-oh. I think it might have a weight on it forever. Anyway. Whatever. I guess I could just take this off of it. With one hand. It's not so easy. It's not easy at all. Look at what a mangled mess I've made of my safety pin. Anyway, so I've weighted all these, which means that every time I had to add some threads because the threads broke and because these have gotten all tangled up. And so in order to make the edge right when this threads broke, I added threads in. It's way down here now. See, and I put a safety, I put a pin in. See if I can do this. Anyway, so I put the pins in and then wound the thread around the pins to hold them in place. And then I weighted them and they're just hanging off the end. Anyway, so I thought I would just do plain weave on this. One of the last things when I was doing that warp, I made this rug down here. Let me show you. No, wait, this is a different warp. Never mind, that's not it. But this one, I'll show you this one. This one was, I did on there when it was wide. Up here. I forget what it's called now. I've made lots of mistakes. I'm not too worried about mistakes. I forget what it's called. Swedish Swedish something. Anyway, that seems like that's the back, I guess. This is the front. See, that's how wide it was when it was proper. But I didn't want to make it with so many things hanging off. But it does make for a very nice towel. It's kind of a linen, I think. I'm not sure what the fabric is, but it's very nice. It's quite absorbent. And I get tired of one pattern after a while. I do for a while and then I change it and do something else because just for the interest. To keep my interest, you know. Anyway, so that's what's been happening on here. So after I took this off, then I started one the same color, but narrower. I just did plain weave. And this I'm doing plain weave. I have a hard time with color, so I'm trying to, so I kept track of what I did. 1 inch of yellow, 4 inches of green. I'm not a planner, I don't plan ahead. So I did those, and then I did 13 or a bunch of yellow with a strip in the middle, and then I'm doing them. I've done my about 2 inches of green. I have to do. I'm going this way, right? So I did my yellow, 9 inches of yellow, 2 inches of green, 2 inches of white, 1 inch of yellow. I've done 2 inches of green. I have to do 4. And then 1 inch of yellow. So here's my green, and I'll finish that up. Then over here, on the other loom, now this was my grandmother's loom. It's a very old kind. I think it's like Little Wolf, only the bars pull up on the sides, and they don't have a clip across them. And this is all it is for the break, or the thing that holds it in place, and it. Anyway, there are many reasons this is a very old loom and not in perfect shape anymore. Anyway, and this is a loom I was given. And on this one I have finished bird's eye. I tie it on here with the name. And then with my treadling, so I know the order of my petals. I don't have one on there because I don't have such an easy place to put it. But this was 2, 4, 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 4. Anyway, this one, this is finished bird's eye. Isn't that beautiful? So I made quite a few things with this pattern. This is also a very long warp. And once again, I started out with it wide and skipping holes, skipping dents. But now I narrowed it, so it's working for me. But sometimes I get a tight thread. So what you're supposed to do with the tight thread is cut it and then weight it so it won't be so tight and mess up your thing. Of course, when you undo the warp, it'll be normal again. And I have a supply of yarns, and of course I have finally got a place for everything. I have different kinds of yarns for different things. I have my hooking things and my lots of cones of yarns, and I have bobbin lace things, and I have fabric, and I have weaving stuff, paint. Anyway, I have lots of things in these bins, hats. Anyway, it's very nice to have a way to have it. And then there's the bobbin lace. Well, that's another